Good Thursday evening. It is game day for the Washington Commanders. It is the Sideline Junkies. Oh, Thursday night throwdown. Had to get situated. Everybody got to settle in. You know, when you get on the mothership, you got to settle in. But welcome to the Thursday night throwdown. As you can see, you got the Midnight Rider, Ben, the man that writes all the checks, the boss BJ. Of course, you got me, the big guy KG, repping the home team. Ben's repping Not Choking Dogs caps. We talked about caps last night, so we're gonna be able to get into that. And finally, we got ourselves a hockey watcher, so we can get some hockey shows going on.
Oh, and I got another guy.
Oh yeah,
I got a guy. Yeah.
Okay, so when we talk hockey, we're gonna have to get into that because number one, before we get into the show, it's a couple of games I would like to go to. I never been to a hockey game as of yet, and I would like to go to one.
Best experience ever, man.
You know, everybody tells me, you know, I went to go see a fight and a hockey game broke out. So
it doesn't happen as much as you think, man. Like that's the
really
funny part about. But you probably get in a week of hockey, depending on what the two teams are, you'll probably get one or two fights. And most times
it used to be way more than that.
Yeah. Like it used to be like the Islanders and the Caps. You'll get one. You'll get one with the Bruins and the Caps. So it's just certain teams.
I know we supposed to be talking something totally different, but I'm gonna tell you this before we move off of this, and I think you should remember this. It was a rookie that came at Ovi one time, and Ovi gave him a good old fashioned DC ass whooping, and basically took his coat, his shoes, and his hat.
Yeah.
My favorite hockey fight of all time. I will say that. So
if we talk about favorite hockey fights, mine has to be they played the Rangers in the playoffs, and everybody knew. Because the way the game before ended, that they was come out and like both lines just came out, dropped gloves, and scrapped at the puck drop. Like it was on. If on site was a thing, that was on site. So that's probably one of the best ones I've seen.
Oh my god. Well, keeping it DC, bombshell dropped this morning. I wish we could have went on air this morning and said something. Daniel Snyder. It's been talks about removing him as the owner of the Commanders for quite some time. And then now he's talking about he got dirt on the other owners and he's going to blow up the NFL with this dirt and he's going to take down the NFL and the NFL's a mafia and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, bro, you sure you want to do this? You sure this the hill you want to die on?
Oh, you're going to die on that hill. I said this every time we've talked about it, whether it's on here, whether it's on a post. I've always said the one thing they worry about is Daniel Snyder being petty and trying to get back at people. That's the one thing that always has been at the forefront for me. Like he's a kid, he's like that kid in the candy store. When you take his lollipop away, he's gonna sit in the middle of the aisle, stomping and crying, yelling and screaming. So I knew this was going to happen. I just didn't know it was gonna come out like this. And now that it's come out, I don't know what's next. I don't know if there's another, because I feel like there's another, like this is the tip of the iceberg of the things that's gonna come out. So if we starting off here, ain't nothing but going up.
Well, it was said that Daniel Snyder needs to go ahead and fire Ron Rivera, and my response always been he's not going to fire Ron Rivera right now because there's too much turmoil going on in the office with the sexual assault allegations, him being suspended, them trying to remove him as owner, and word on the street is none of the owners like this guy. Nobody likes him, but I thought him and Jerry were, you know, hell, I thought him and Jerry was, you know, tight because that's who he emulates. He emulates Jerry Jones, and you getting the same result that Jerry Jones get. Before Jerry Jones had to be the man that was on the phone and all this and making all the deals and willing and dealing, the Cowboys were a winning organization. And I don't mean just winning games. They were winning championships. Your ego got the best of you. You didn't draft well. Your dynasty died because of you. If you want to follow in those footsteps of Jerry Jones, and I love Jerry Jones on many different levels, but if you want to follow in those footsteps and kill your franchise, go ahead, but just don't do it with this franchise.
So You said something interesting about him following Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
There's one thing he don't follow Jerry in, and that's bringing in money and putting butts in seats. So until he can do that, he needs to stick to being Dan Snyder and not try to be Jerry, because he can't be Jerry. That's not what he built for. He's not built for that. This team is taking a 91,000 seat stadium to like a 67,000 seater. And then I think one of the notes in the article was that they have the highest percentage of seats being sold on the third party market, or the third market, or the outside market, however they coined that phrase for like SeatGeek and all those companies.
Evening, fellas. How's everybody?
Good, man. What's going on with you?
Oh my goodness, I'm good, man. Hey, I don't know if anybody watched SpongeBob, but it's an episode of SpongeBob where the jellyfish and SpongeBob having a house party. I remember that episode. God, I'm gonna send it to y'all. That's what's going on in my house right now. I'm gonna post it in the what you call them, so y'all can see what I'm talking about. That way, y'all can get the joke. But let me speak on Mr. Daniel M. Snyder. Okay, this guy right here, right? And I've said it multiple times. You cannot like him, but let's not forget. Let's not think for 1 second that he has to have some type of kill and cutthroat to make what he made his fortune, smarts, everything. So, is he a good football owner by the standards of Washington Commander fans? Absolutely not. Do the owners hate him? Probably so. But this is that when you keep trying to mess with an animal you shouldn't be messing with, and all of a sudden they snap and bite you. And I don't know if it was a couple of shows ago. I don't know if it's a couple of shows ago, or I remember saying this, but this is what and Midnight Rider said it too. This is what you have to watch out for with this guy. If he's going to go down, or if you think you're taking him down, guess what? Every NFL secret in the world coming out. Anything he got on his plate, you want to take this organization away from him, y'all are going to die too. And that's where we're at. That's where we at with Dan Snyder. I think it's hilarious because after the John Gruden stuff came out, we kept saying, okay, we know it's more. We know it's way more to this than just what John Gruden did and a couple emails back and forth with select individuals. Because, the NFL, and especially NFL, I'll just speak on the NFL, have selective memory, and they put out what they want to put out. So it's going to be very interesting to see if the NFL says, to hell with it, whatever he got, let him come out, but we got to get him out of that seat, or if they're back off and be like, leave him alone. I would like to see how this plays out.
And what's up to you, Perry? Long time no hear. Hopefully we can get back in the saddle on the mothership on Saturdays and talk some wrestling, because I got a good question coming up Saturday, and I would love for you, if you got time to answer that one, I would love to hear what you got with that one. But Perry also says Snyder trying to get his Nino Brown on. Yes, he is. If I'm going down, everybody going with me. Because it's a fear thing. And you got to be cutthroat in any business. I get it. But here's my thing. We know what the short game is. What's the long game? You get Daniel Snyder out, then you have to approve an owner. And I hear it's been Jeff Bezos' name rolling around for 2-3 years now. And my thing is, Bezos wants to buy the Phoenix Suns. He wants to buy the Washington Commanders. He owns the Washington Post and Clear Channel and all of that. So he has his hands in a lot of stuff. But from an employer standpoint, where's that going to leave the organization?
It'd be a fresh start. I mean, you'd be starting brand new. The only thing you'd want to do is you want this process, whatever this process becomes and is, you want it to happen in a timely manner. I think when Daniel Snyder bought the team, there was an issue where he didn't get control of the team until it was like well into April and May before he really got control of the team. And at that point, you missed out on free agency, where you missed out on actually maybe signing Trent Green, because Trent Green didn't sign mostly because we didn't know who the owner was going to be. So you lose out on stuff like that when it takes a long time in the process. The other part that I think we get is I think you get fans back. That's one of the biggest things. You'll get people coming back just because he's not involved in the process. The only thing I worry about is I think the second you hear something about Daniel Snyder and a vote, the first thing I think is coming out is the Colin Kaepernick emails. I think that's going to be his first drop. That's going to be his bomb. That's going to be the one that splits the earth in half, because I know just from the language in the John Gruden email, I know the language in those emails is quite explicit.
And Perry came through with a good one here. Ownership group of Bezos, Jay, and Rayful Evans. Now, if you would have said Rayful Evans in about 87, 88, yeah, Rayful had enough money to do it. He had more than enough money to do it. But, hey, you would have to do what you had to do. Anything's better than ownership right now. And the thing is, I never wanted Daniel Snyder to own this team. I wanted this team to stay with the Cooks, because John can't cook. He seemed so poised to take over for his dad. And it was like, okay, let's keep rolling with this, because this is what it's going to be. And his dad knew how to stay out of things and let the football people do the football thing, because Jack can't cook. He built the Forum. He had a winner in the Lakers. He had the Kings. He came here and won championships. Everything he touched turned to gold in somehow, some way. So I thought John would, keep going with that. But you got somebody that's a fan, and you're like, okay, you're a fan. You want to see this organization win, but then you won't let the people you hire do the job that they're supposed to do. You want to hire your friends. Now, granted, if I'm in that position, I got no problem hiring the Midnight Rider, the Boss BJ, the People's Choice Don Rodriguez, Nubian Sumo, even Perry, our good contributor Raj Thompson. I got no problem hiring everybody, making sure everybody got a job. But I have to hire you guys in your strong suit. I can't say, well, Midnight Rider, I want you to be over concessions. And you over concessions, but you want to turn everything vegan. You turning off like 3/4 of the fan base right there. I'm losing money. I have to put you where you have your strengths at. He wanted Vinny Serrato. Vinny Serrato could not pick talent to save his life, but he had to have Vinny in the building. That was the downfall of Daniel Snyder. Now, if you come out with any emails, anything you have to say, some of it is already probably common knowledge. So I'm not really really too concerned. So, B, you got something to say there?
Yeah, man. I think I get where you're going, but I think the Cook ownership didn't continue for a reason. If Boss Cook wanted his family to have it, he would have made it that way. And go ahead, Midnight Rider.
So on that note, what happened, and part of the reason why he didn't give it to him, is there's a tax. If you inherit a team, there's a crazy tax that you have to pay. And the dad didn't set it up to go through that loophole of that tax. And you're actually going to see that same thing coming in play with the Baltimore Orioles. If something happens to Angelos and he dies, it's a way that you have to maneuver it so the kids don't get killed on the taxes that they would have to pay when they inherit the team. Sorry about that.
No. You good. I love hearing that, and I get that. But we talking about Jack Kent Cook. We talking about, like I said, we talk about Dan Snyder. You can say what you want about him, but we talking about savvy businessmen. So and I'm just saying, even if you didn't set that up, if I owned the Buffalo Bills and I wanted Brian Jr. to have it, I'm I'm setting that money to the side for the tax or going through the loophole. Like I just go off of like if somebody wants something done, they're gonna do it. They're gonna set things up and put things in motion so it's done because that was a I remember when the team was in kind of like up in the air, who's gonna own it, what's gonna happen. So one thing I wanted to address what you said, Kevin, is I think I understand what you're saying about not wanting Dan Snyder to own the team and wanting it to go to Cook's son. But I think that's an unfair assessment because even if you felt that way, if Dan Snyder came in here and won 3 or 4 Super Bowls, we wouldn't be talking about this. If this team, let's go back to the first game of the season at home. Washington fans showed up. We heard the roar of the crowd for the Jacksonville game. So the losing is the turn off. If they had scandal after scandal after scandal in this Washington Commanders team, and somehow over the next 10 years won 3 Super Bowls, nobody would care about the coach on up, the GM on up. Nobody would care. The league wouldn't care. The league would care to a certain extent, but it would be hot drama. Can you imagine ESPN and Fox leading these stories? They would have something to talk about. Because that's what the sports broadcasting thing is now. It's turned into Entertainment Tonight. It's about drama. It's about the juicy stories. It's about putting information out there and hoping you're right because it sounds good and it's going to draw attention. So, I think what you said about him, if he does, I think it's going to be a series of things, and I think that's one of the reasons I'm saying I want to see what happens because will the threat of what Dan Snyder could have, is it enough for Roger Goodell and the NFL to back off and be like, all right, look, I'm sure Roger Goodell will have a meeting with him, be like, look, we don't like you, but we're gonna leave you alone. Like, let's try to, do X, Y, and Z so we can get the franchise back up and not be a laughing stock. Or is the NFL going to be like, well, fuck you, let's see what you got, and he dropped something hot, and then they have to back off. Like either way, I think Dan Snyder wins. Either way, he is swinging on the NFL's balls, and his mouth is wide open, his teeth is showing, be like, I'm ready to bite. I will bite. I'm swinging on y'all nuts, and I will bite if I have to, but I don't want to. I'll let go and I'll drop off. I'll take a broken arm in the fall and go about my business. But if I have to bite, it's going to hurt. I'm telling you. Look, burgundy and gold. I'm telling you, you might not like your owner, but he ain't no dummy. You're a shark. He's a shark. They don't. And it's not just him. It's all 32 owners. All of them have to have some shark in them to get to the point where they are with that money in those businesses. Like the Pagulias that own Buffalo. They seem like a nice couple. Let you come across them and they have to make a business decision. You're going to get sliced and diced up. You'll get sliced and diced up. And that's it's I just want to see the next step, fellas. That's what I'm looking for.
Well, one thing they say is that Daniel Snyder hired private law firms to look into other owners and things like that. And that's some gangster shit right there. You hiring private law firms to look into somebody else's business. And it's crazy because you can't even sweep around your own front door, but you sweeping around somebody else's. Like you live in a glass house. Like you're throwing stones and you live in a glass house. Like, dude, you got Kanishkis. Like, really?
Kanishkis?
Yes.
That's a new one.
Yes.
So to follow up on what you guys just said, I think this is definitely a gangster move. But I mean, for me, it comes with the turf, as we've seen. I think today was one of the weirdest days of being a fan, actually last 2 weeks, because it's almost feeling like, KJ, you might remember this, like 2013, the end of the Mike Shanahan era, when every week it seemed like on game day came a big story about this team. I feel like we're in that territory again, and that didn't end well. So I don't know how this is going to end. But we're getting to a point where every week there's something, and we still haven't gotten the report from Mary Jo. I can't think of her last name, but Mary Jo did a report, some investigation they're supposed to have. So that's coming out. Whatever the Congress hasn't come out yet. And the bad thing about this team, and you can always tell a Dan situation because they always come out and attack whoever drops the report. They always try to attack their credibility. They always try to call it a scheme. Them trying to get them to sell the team, I think, was the latest thing they brought up. They always play the blame game. They never answer the question. They always just go back and attack and blame. Pay attention. That's always his trick.
Well, if I'm backpedaling, I got to pick up some sort of defense. I mean, why not blame anybody else except accountability?
Right, but I'm just saying that's his MO. Like, I feel like they said he was gone. Dan was on the phone calling Tanya, AT, look, we had that one scandal. Let's get Sean Taylor in the rafters. Hey, look, boom, boom. And like Jason, unfortunately, is in a bad situation because he got to do whatever you say. You know what I'm saying? He can't go to Dan like, Dan, I don't think we can do it. Dan's like, no, it's got to be done. If you can't do it, I'll get somebody else. And then you see a lot of this stuff being thrown together last minute, and it's not exactly put together well.
The name change, Bobby Mitchell's number retirement, which should have happened years ago. Sean Taylor's number retirement. Now you get ready to throw Sonny Jurgensen in there. After, I really think they forced Sonny out, but we're not gonna get into that.
They had to.
I ain't got Sonny rubbing his arrowhead. I ain't getting no turnovers.
Hey man, I'm just saying he had to. I listened to the broadcast on the way from dropping my son off and coming back to DC. And yeah, I don't know if Sonny knew where he was a couple times. So that's all I'm gonna say. But let's get going because we on a tight schedule, man.
Man, they could have kept Cooley too. So sticking in Washington, William Jackson III, he was benched on Sunday. Like, he was walking along the sidelines, hands behind his back. You know, he was participating in huddles and everything, but he was just walking the sidelines during the game and hands behind his back. He got benched. And he's supposed to be our number 2 corner next to Kendall Fuller. And, you know, we supposed to have one of the best back ends in the league with Fuller, Jackson at the corners, and Cam Curl and Bobby McCain at the safeties. But it hasn't yielded a whole lot of success to go with that vaunted front 7. And now William Jackson wants out of Washington. He says he wants out. He wants to go where it's a focal point. I guess he's the focal point, and he wants to go somewhere else. I start with you, Midnight Rider. 2 questions. What do you get back for him? And potential landing spots.
Wow. All right. What you get back from him? Oh, first, before I do that, whatever Bobby McCain is paying you to say nice things about him, like, I want to cut of that because I got to hear all this talk about Bobby McCain, and I don't know, man. But to the question, I think you're going to end up either swapping disgruntled players with a team, maybe picking up somebody else's corner that's not happy where he is. And I think you're going to end up having the infamous switch of the swap of 6-round picks. That's all you can get for him. I don't think you're getting anything more. Like, I've seen this guy get burnt all day long. Like, what's his value to me? Unless I have like a tragic situation at cornerback where I'm on like my 4th corner, and my 4th corner is some kid that undrafted free agent out of Tuscaloosa State. I just don't see him getting more than a 6. And if he gets more than a 6, I'll come on here and say I was dead wrong. I have no problems admitting I was wrong, but I just don't see him netting anything of that much value in return. So I see it as possibly a swap of picks or a situation where they get somebody else's disgruntled, maybe a guard, maybe a DB again. So we'll see.
BJ?
I just saw a mock trade that was like Saquon to the Bills for a 7 in exchange for Zach Moss in the 3rd. And we all know this, it don't matter what sport it is. When you have a player with an organization, he fell out of favor with the organization, and he doesn't want to be there no more. Of course, no matter how talented you think the guy is, his value is going to go down immensely. So I can see them. I don't. If I'm a GM, if I am interested in Will Jackson, I mean, it's not like we're talking about, we're talking about if you need some depth, like we kind of like Buffalo do right now. But if you're a team and you got your guys started out with, I mean, I don't know anybody that's going to beat down the door for Will Jackson. But that being said, I would just, if I'm a GM, I don't trade no picks for this guy. I sit out and wait until Washington releases him. Yeah, let him release him. Let him see if he clears the waiver wires or whatever, and then go for him. Then you can offer him the minimum or whatever you want, but picks for the guy, I wouldn't do it.
And see, that's crazy because my next question for you was, and this is what I thought about as after I asked the question to both of you gentlemen. I thought about what if we made a trade with Buffalo and BJ put on the Brandon Bean hat and be the GM for Buffalo. I'm on the phone with you right now. I got William Jackson. I know you having some corner issues. Give me a 6th and a 7th.
Absolutely not.
Okay, give me a 7th. I can make things happen in the 7th.
If I'm Brandon Bean, I don't do it because we're not talking about the Buffalo Bills prior to 2019, where they would take anybody, any attitude. They just cut Tavon Austin, and because he was complaining about not getting on the field. And if was it the Miami game? I think it was the Miami game where we were down to 3 wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's all we had, and he still didn't get on the field.
Mm-hmm.
So, but this is, it. The crazy thing is, and I don't want to take a shot at Commanders fans, but if this is William Jackson on the Bears and y'all needed a corner, y'all would pull this deal 6th and a 7th because y'all are the organization is that type of organization. It's like they don't have, they don't have that vocal leader. When is the last who besides DJ Swearinger in the last couple of years? Who's been like the vocal leader of this team? Like Chase Young he's too young to take that step. I think he might be that eventually, but you got a rotating door quarterback. I'm trying to think of Jonathan Allen. He seems like lead by example guy. He gets riled up on the field after the play, but you don't have that guy. You don't have a team vet leader that can like get in these guys' faces and stuff. So it's just if you don't have that, when you get these guys, it's just going to pull your organization down, pull the team morale down.
Well, I mean, it seems like they bring in players from other teams to be the locker room voice. It was Thomas Davis. I want to say that was last season. It was Thomas Davis. I mean, it's been Jonathan Allen because they go to him for quotes all the time, especially when we were talking Jack Del Rio. They went to him for a quote, and he said he had no problem with it. But there is no locker room leader that can be, no seen locker room leader. So I understand that. But what you said about Washington pulling the trigger on this trade, we didn't even pull the trigger on the Jamal Adams trade when he was available. We knew he was garbage. We knew he was garbage.
So I think, like, it's gotten to a point they've gotten a little bit better at making trades, not much better. It's like going from an F to a D, or like a D plus.
A D is passing,
right? And I think that's just the way they've been set up. I don't like the way we make deals. That's why I was saying I think this deal is you give them Jackson, you got to eat the cap number, whatever that is. The good thing is his cap number next year, I don't think it's guaranteed. So he was gone at the end of this season no matter what. So that's another reason that you're motivated to move him out of the organization and somewhere else. The other piece on it is this team has to do something. You got to acquire assets. For the long time, you talked about the Serrato era. And for the Serrato era, we had like 5 years span where we only drafted like 20 players. You can't get better doing that. And even if you end up with a 6, you got something. They made a 6 turn into Alfred Morris. They had a 7 become Cam Curl. So you have had situations where you've been successful. It's not a lot, but you have been successful in some of these situations. So sometimes you just got to load up with guys in the back end of this draft and hope for the best. Just like you got the kid Derek Forrest starting tonight, 5th round pick. There are situations where this team has to just start getting bodies in and start getting an identity. Like I always said, and I've said this before, and you will always hear me say this when I talk about this team and the draft. We don't have a type. Until we get a type, we won't be successful. I gotta look at college football on Saturday and say that's a Washington Redskin, that's a Washington Commander. That's what I have to do, and I can't do that right now.
Well, I agree with that because we don't have a type. We really don't. We don't have a type, and that hurts. I'm a proponent of loading up on draft picks. I love the draft and the GM aspect of preparing for the draft, the scouting and everything. And BJ will tell you, we'll play online franchises, and I love doing the offseason. I love getting to the offseason, scouting guys, and they had to make a limit in one of the leagues that I was in because I had like 13 draft picks, and they were all late, and I was just picking guys. But I was picking guys and turning them into stars. It's about development. You got to get a guy. If you need a position filled and this guy fits your type, because I have a type, he fits your type, you need a position filled, okay, I'm going to develop him. He may take a year or two to come around, but I got him. Right now, I'm dealing with a middle linebacker that's a 62 overall, but he has a superstar trait. I'm going to develop the shit out of him. He's going to be my guy for the next 3 years. Once he gets going, oh, y'all, it's over. It's over. Y'all done. Y'all done. But Washington has always shot themselves in the foot when it comes to drafting. But tonight, they take on the Bears, and I am hoping that they don't shoot themselves in the foot because they are 1.5 point favorites. The over-under is 38.5. If I'm not mistaken, Brian Robinson is starting tonight. So we get a little bit more of him, and I love what I've seen from him against Tennessee on Sunday. Just not enough. The run game wasn't prevalent enough when it should have been. So before we get out of here, first and foremost, we're going to start with the boss, BJ, and then we're going to finish up the Midnight Riding. Thoughts on tonight's game? Hell, even a winner. Matter of fact, let me pick my winner now.
Well, I'll get going. I think the Bears come out with a victory tonight, home at Soldier Field. I think it's, I really think this is going to be one of the games once again that you're going to see miscues from Washington, and that's how they're going to lose this game. Miscues, time management. If they get to that, hopefully they don't come out flat. They didn't come out flat against can't even remember who they played. Oh, the Titans last week. That wasn't an issue. It was just time management and decisions. So I'm gonna take the Bears tonight. I don't think it's gonna be over 40. I don't know what the over-under is for this game. I don't think it's gonna be over 40. I think the Bears are gonna take it probably by like 21-14, 21-13. I think it'll be one of those type of games.
The over-under is 38.5, so you're good.
Okay, yeah. I don't think it'll get to 38. I really don't. I'd be surprised if this turns into a midnight rider and boss BJ shootout, 41-42. But the over under 38, that's a big guy KG shootout. 13-16. You got the John Thompson towel on his shoulder sweating, Dallas Cowboy cologne on, that type of shootout.
Oh man. So tonight I think the feature players for Chicago, it's David Montgomery, it's Kevin Mooney. You even got to see what Justin Fields can do, because even though he's got the lowest number of pass attempts, the kid makes plays with his feet and he throws a deep ball well. So I think we'll be in that 23-20 range. So I'm gonna go with the over. I'm gonna take Washington, of course. But I just think this is one of those games where you got to be careful. Chicago's been frisky all year. And you don't want that one game where they decide to hit on all cylinders to be against you. The other thing for the Commanders, I think this is a great situation for Brian Robinson. The Bears have given up 100 yards in each one of their games so far. So that's a big plus. Hopefully, in the kicking game, Washington can use now because Robinson's there. You can use Antonio Gibson in the return game. Maybe you get something out of that in at least the kick return, if not the punt return, because you need to get something. Right now, Dax Mill ain't doing it. And personally, I don't even understand why they haven't done. I mean, even though Dax might be a better receiver, why not put Alec Erickson back there and let Erickson do something? Because he's a little bit better. It ain't much, but it's a little bit better, and that's what you need right now. You need something because there's no threat. Teams are actually kicking the ball to us because they know we're not getting to the 20. So why kick it in the end zone and do you a favor? So I like Washington a lot. I think the defense has a chance with the young guys, Forrest and Curl. You're getting a lot of energy out of the big guys in the middle. But, I mean, to quote KG's favorite commentator, tonight we need a hero. We need a hero. We need somebody to come out and make a play. You know what I'm saying? We need a guy to make a play. It's got to be personal for him. It's got to be a manhood issue, all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the two Butcher Knives can come out and do their thing. But they need something big to happen today to make this to make it official.
I'm gonna say something. Yeah, it can't be a manhood issue, but see, I want to be on the end where we walk into Chicago's house, sit at their table, eat their food, burp in their face, and goose their wife on the way out the door. That's what I want tonight. And and I will say this: the People's Choice Don Rodriguez came in and remember to diversify them bonds, and I picked Washington by 3. Konnichiwa. So I'm gonna ask one last question, and we're gone. Is Ron Rivera coaching for his coaching life tonight? If he loses this game, is he done?
I'm gonna let BJ go first if he's ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. I don't think they're ready to pull the trigger right now. I think over the next 4 or 5 weeks, if this team keeps coming out flat, you keep having bad coaching decisions on the field, I think you'll see the end of the Ron Rivera era here. And we're not even going to go into who would be promoted or whatever, because you would have to promote somebody until you could do a coaching search next year. But I think the next 4 or 5 weeks, he is coaching for his job.
Wow. Before today's report, I would have said no. He's not coaching for his job because the league needs him to do something to keep some form of stability in this franchise. After today's report, I'm kind of worried because I feel like Dan Snyder's getting back to being full-fledged Dan Snyder. Like he's about to go into, I know you guys probably watch Dragon Ball Z. He's going to be Super Saiyan Dan Snyder with his attitude and him being able to cut the cord and stop paying and get rid of a coach after just 3 years. I don't want to see that. I'm tired of the 3-and-dones or the 2-and-dones, but I just think after today, I'm nervous. I don't think he's coaching for his job, but I wouldn't be surprised now after these reports.
I'm gonna say this: I don't think he's coaching for his job either, because if you think you fire Dan, you fire Ron. Dan comes down, he fires Ron. Hey, this is it. We're done. The only coach on this staff that has head coaching on his resume in the NFL is Jack Del Rio. Do you really want Jack Del Rio as the coach of our Washington Commanders? Do you really want that? Because I damn sure don't.
It's temporary. Even if they promote Del Rio temporary to finish out the season, I don't want any of those. I don't want the staff there. I might give Scott Turner a chance. I don't want anybody there. Anybody that's on that staff, I don't think it's salvageable. I don't want nobody on the staff. Whoever rock, because we've been getting the Carolina Blues since Ron Rivera been here. And if you don't know what I'm speaking of him reaching back to the Panthers for assistants and players and stuff. I want all of them gone. All of them. Go. That's why I say you promote somebody. I don't think it's a head coach on this side. I don't think Scott Turner's ready to be a head coach. And that, it's crazy. I think they just gave him an extension, but he will have to go because you want your coach to come in here and pick his staff. Offensive coordinator, like this might be one of the only franchises that your offensive coordinator, like Dallas, your offensive coordinator and stuff is picked for you. That's hogwash. So if you get a coach, everything got to be cleaned out, man. These people got to go.
And what's
you don't
crazy,
get to pick your coordinators in Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin doesn't get to pick his coordinators.
You know who we need, and this is a reach, but you know who the hell we need? Just 1 year. 1 year. I say we call Dick LeBeau. 1 year.
For
1
what?
year. Defense.
Nah.
Not head coach, defense.
Nah,
I guarantee you.
This thing is so different now. I think we get caught up in some of these older names, and we gotta start giving some of these younger guys a chance. Because you haven't fixed it yet. You brought Gruden in, he at least got a second contract, but then you blew him out. You had Gibbs, but the game had passed Gibbs by, and you were only getting to the playoffs on lucky runs at the end of the season. Then you had, who else am I missing? Zorn, Jesus Christ. I only know, how do you hire a guy to be your offensive coordinator, then turn around and be like, hey, you the coach today? So again, signs of dysfunction. And honestly, it's just going to be more dysfunction. We're going to get somebody new in here. And the problem is, if you're a young guy and you're smart, you're going to make them pay up. You're going to get more money than most young coaches get, because when you come to Washington and you leave Washington, you got stains on you. You're dirty. You're sullied. So your reputation isn't the same as before, and you got to go back and rebuild yourself. So I don't see a retread or older guy coming here because they know that Dan Snyder gets his hands in the cookie jar too much. So, you're going to be stuck having to get somebody young and hopefully taking a chance on a young offensive coach. So that way you get the benefits of that. And then you bring in a strong defensive coordinator, and then everything falls into place. But hopefully before all that happens, you pick the GM. So,
well, I guess that ends the Dick LeBeau, even Monty Kiffin. So I guess y'all kind of put me out.
I don't need them going to bed having supper at 2:30 and trying to go to bed at 5 o'clock as my lead coordinators.
And a good evening to you, Monica Thornton. Thank you for standing up and being counted. I guess that's all we got. We got 12 minutes till kickoff. Amazon Prime. I wish they stopped throwing games on Amazon Prime.
Double check your local listings, because you should be able to get the game on either Channel 5 or Channel 7 if you got regular TV. So you may not have to go to your Amazon Prime to watch the game, because they have to show the game in the local market. So they have to give you access via a local channel. Just like back in the day before ESPN became the worldwide leader, if you had a Sunday night game there, it would come on a different channel. So check that out first.
It's on Channel 5. It's on Fox.
There you go. See?
I'll take a Fox broadcast. Now.
I think you're still getting Al and whatchamacallit. You're going to get the Amazon broadcast.
Okay.
You're just getting it on Channel 5.
Fox. Okay. Yeah. Something that I meant to mention earlier this week, and then we really out of here. The word legend is thrown around a lot, and the boss BJ can attest to this. We were at the game on Sunday, and they brung out Commanders legend, Andre Carter.
Huh?
Commanders legend, Andre Carter.
Huh?
That's and I was like, who? I know who he is, but he wasn't.
See, the problem is there's this fine line, because sometimes teams try to use the term legend just to say like player that was with the team. I'm gonna say it that way, say it nicely. But not everybody's a legend. But I think this franchise monikers the term legend in a way to just kind of pay respect to the alumni. He should have been Redskins alumni, Andre Carter. He should have never been Redskins legend.
I agree with that. The man of the hour, Delonte. My bad, bro. I'm coming. I got you right. The man of the hour, Delonte, joining us. We wrapping up, but Washington, Chicago tonight. What you got?
I got Washington. I got Washington. I know a lot of Washington fans that talk about how much of the franchise is in disarray because comments about from Rivera to Carlson and Snyder threatening to blow up the league verbally. Chicago is a shit mess as well. You know what I'm saying? And the only reason it's not on people's radar is because we're here in Washington and not in Chicago. So and Justin Field, man, he's a poor man's Lamar Jackson. I mean poor man, I mean poor man. You know what I'm saying? So give me Washington. It's gonna be probably one of them super low scoring classics like probably like last week. Give me Washington 9-6.
Hey, I ain't even mad at that. I'll take it. I'm not even mad at it. So that's all the time we got. But man, I'm not mad at it. I'll take that. And good old shootout on the Thursday night, and I ain't got a whole bunch of work to do tomorrow. So yeah. So that's all the time we got. Thank you everyone for joining us. Enjoy the game tonight. For the boss BJ, the man of the hour Delonte, the Midnight Rider, Ben, for all the junkies that's on special assignment. I'm the big guy KG. You know our motto. We don't do no overtime. We are out of here.